Whatever happened to predictability? The milkman, the paperboy, evening TV. You miss your old familiar friends, but waiting just around the bend. Everywhere you look, there's a heart, a hand to hold on to. Everywhere you look, there's a looks of somebody who needs you.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the What We Gonna Do podcast. Did you miss me? Thought about taking that from Martin, but I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna say it myself. I hope y'all are doing well on this rainy day. Well, at least it's a rainy day for me out in Texas. I'm tired. The baby has been kicking my butt. Hopefully y'all listened to the last episode. If you have not, please go back and listen to that last episode. The intro, I just kind of thought that was funny. Something came across my timeline and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do an episode on this. My podcast is generally like an unconventional type of podcast. You know, I have things that are fun. I have things that are serious. You know, I have things about family, whatever the case may be. But this is something that just came to my mind literally probably, you know, about an hour ago or whatever. And I was like, hey, I'm going to do this. You know, it might rub some of y'all the wrong way, but it is what it is. I clearly can see who listens to my podcast and who doesn't now. So it's whatever. Glad for the people who are here, and I'm glad for any new people that are here. Please feel free to hit me up at What We Gonna Do Pod on Instagram and Twitter. You can DM me, you can shoot the shit, you can follow me. If you would like to email me, please email whatwegonado@gmail.com with any questions, comments, or concerns. Please visit podbean.com and check out the premium podcast playlist exclusively on Podbean. These are long form pieces of content, just a faster way to kind of get to know what type of show you're listening to. If you want to support the show, it's a small, $1, $3, and that's it. There's no subscription, nothing like that or whatever. That's the entire thing. You get it. And there are multiple of them. And I actually have some more that are going to be dropping. But clearly, I got other things going on right now. But I do have more premium podcast playlists dropping soon. Also, please visit Linktree/What We Gonna Do Pod. That's linktr.ee/What We Gonna Do Pod. You can find this in my bio or whatever. And there you can see everything What We Gonna Do. I'm talking about, you can go find the merch. Please check out the merch. New merch is coming soon. You can check out any features that I've been on. You can check out any hosting platform that the podcast is available. You can find everything there. So please go check that out. I appreciate y'all as I always do. I have a quote because I told y'all I'm going to try to stick with these quotes, because I wanted to bring them back. It's something that I had way back in the day when I originally started the podcast, and it's something that I wanted to bring back, now because I think it's important. I think it's relevant. Words mean things, and quotes get the brain kind of running and just things to kind of mull over and sit on. There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Nelson Mandela. Let me say that one more time. There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Somebody who needs you. As you can tell, I thought it was funny. Clearly, it plays off the whole, I think it's Full House or whatever. Y'all will hear it in the introduction or, in the intro music, not the introduction. Y'all will hear it in the intro music. But being with my newborn and talking to my wife, it's really got me to thinking about my first child and just going over time and just dealing with kids and having kids, in my personal opinion. I'm going to say this right out the gate. I really don't get and don't necessarily agree with people who say they don't want kids. I feel like that's selfish. It's inconsiderate. It don't even necessarily make sense to me. And this is not only just people who have not had kids yet. This is also for people who have kids. And I'm not talking about those individuals who literally physically cannot have kids. They've had, hysterectomy or some type of, something to where they cannot have kids, low sperm count, whatever it may be, but they cannot have kids. Whether it's via adoption or you literally having kids, I think it's one of the most beautiful things in the world. And there's just so much that goes into it. When I was talking to my wife, I never really thought about having kids. And what I mean by that is it's not like that was on the top of my mind, just having kids and getting married. I always wanted to leave a legacy. And I always figured that would happen with me having a child, having hypothetically a son. I joked with my friends, and I still joke about this to this day, but we talked about the fact we were going to have boys, and we were going to kidnap our boys, and they were going to become ninjas, and we were going to go to another country and all, which is still kind of the plan. I'm just going to be honest. That's the backup plan. These wives and girlfriends and thing don't work out, you know what I mean? We're going to take them and we just going to leave the country or whatever and raise some little ninjas or whatever. But those are the kind of thoughts that I had as a kid as it relates to children. So once I become an adult and everybody says, oh, you're the example, AJ, you're the example, you know what I mean? You got married first and then you had your child 5 years into the marriage and so on and so forth. So people say a lot of these things and really it just happen. You know what I mean? Like you come up with this idea and this thought of marriage, and then you believe that, hey, I can do this marriage thing, and then you say, okay, I can do this marriage thing with this particular person, and then you get with this particular person and say, hey, I would like kids, or I want to have kids by this age. I mean, these are just normal conversations for a lot of people, and then you start planning. My daughter was planned for the most part. I know in our culture, I know people don't like to say black anymore. In our culture, because it's more assumed than people having to say in our culture. In black culture, a lot of children, for the most part, are unplanned. This is kind of like the general consensus. I don't know if that's 100% a fact. It just seems that other races do plan on having their kids. They have these things in order. They already have bought them a house and a car, and they have property for them. And, we just wing it, unfortunately. But I wanted to do something different. I didn't want to be like everybody else, and I didn't want those conventional names. I didn't want those traditional names. I didn't want names that everybody has. I didn't want any ghetto names or hood names. Like, I wanted to go with some names that are unique. And that's what we've been able to do with both of our children so far, is that, clearly there are not many names that do not exist, but there are names that are not as often used. And then there are some that are just new, like they're newer types of names or whatever the case may be. So I like that. And all of our children's, I'm saying both of our children's names have meaning. You know what I mean? I know y'all probably like, what's the names? DM me and I'll tell you the names or whatever. But both of our children have, names that have meaning to them, that have power with them, that carry something. Not just my last name, but their first and middle names carry some level of weight. And I love that, you know what I mean? That they're going to be able to go to school and it's going to be more than just the normal, the typical, or some old name. Like, my name is an old name. Like, I get jokes about my name. I get so many different things about my name or whatever. And I've talked about it before. I don't play about anybody joking about my name. If you don't know me, we didn't go to school together, we ain't been in a shootout or a fight, we're not doing that or whatever. But my name is definitely an older name, you know what I mean? Which is kind of cool, but at the same time, it was time for a change, especially with my son. I'm a junior. My son is not a third. We went with a whole different name. He's going to have his own legacy. He's going to continue mine as well, and my father's, but he's going to do it under his own name, not some name that is a very, very old name or whatever. You know what I mean? So y'all take y'all guesses. You know what I mean? I like the guesses. The guesses are funny, but the real, is not as funny or whatever. I take that real serious. So you come up with these names. You figure it out, and what do you want? You know what I mean? Do you want a boy? Do you want a girl? Of course, being a man, I initially wanted a boy. Like with my first child, she was born in 2013. We wanted a boy. Like, we talked about a boy. My wife flip-flopped on me because she wanted a boy, and then she flip-flopped and said she wanted a girl, and we got a girl. So in comes this child. And while I'm sitting here today, I'm trying to reminisce because it's like, man, I've forgotten that. I know how difficult that first year was. And what I mean by difficult is not necessarily just the difficulty on me, but it's an adjustment for everybody, for that child, for that mother and that father, for that extended family. Like, it's an adjustment because you have to change your habits. You cannot continue to move and live as a person who does not have this child who you are now responsible to. A lot of people don't do that, but I did, you know what I mean? Because you want to get past the SIDS, the sudden infant death syndrome. You want to get past, can they drink whole milk or 2%? You want to get to where they can eat table food. Like, you want to hit these milestones and see your child's development, and then see them go into daycare if you want to go to daycare. See them go into elementary school, which is the point that I'm at now with my oldest child, as she's in elementary school. You want to be able to see those things. You want your child to live. You want your child to be healthy, to be taken care of, to have a roof over their head, to not have to worry about certain things. That was my goal, is that I don't want my child to go through the same things that I went through growing up. So far, she hasn't. So far, my first child, she's done way more things at 6 than I've done in my, like, it took me all of my 31, 32 years now to do some of these things that she's been able to do in 6, which I think is an awesome, amazing accomplishment, especially for me. Now, when I have this conversation and when I'm talking to y'all, it's really just like, I immediately felt a connection with my daughter. Like, it's instant love, and she's been everything that I could have imagined her to be. Like, it's so interesting trying to now get used to a new child, and I've done so much and just gotten so ingrained with the first child. But it's fun. Like, I love the new child. Like, again, all the other stuff don't matter. You just want your child to be healthy. And so you do have to change. Like, okay, I got to find time for myself. Got to find time for my wife, time for all the kids, time for this, time for that. Like, it does change things. And of course, people, and what I've seen so much on the internet is people talking about all the negative things, all the, and sometimes I wonder, like, what people think life is supposed to be, you know, and I just can't see, like, you going through life and leaving this world and you not having children. Like, let me not say it that way, but what I mean is, you literally are here and you leave and you're gone. You're forgotten. This is the end of the line. You're the beginning and the end. And I have to believe with those individuals that something happened with your family. Like, it can't just be all these external influences. What happens, I feel, is that people take the 10% of the bad and make it 90%. So they believe it's 90% bad, 10% good when it comes to having children. And I feel like there are way more families who are not talking about all of these bad experiences because they're having good experiences. Then you have a small group, a certain amount of people that are talking about all of these bad things and so on and so forth. But most people, they're taking care of their kids, they're loving their kids, they're doing this, you know what I mean? Like, when you look at the percentages, even of kids that have been abandoned and this, that, and the third, it's not like that is 90% or something like that. So the numbers are skewed, and the internet will make you believe something that is not necessarily a reality, that having kids is so bad. So I disagree with that. That's just like saying, man, having a job is so bad, having a mother is so bad, having this is so, like, anything in life, you have to do some level of work. I don't know what you can have without doing anything, but at the same time, it's like, to have something that is yours, that you can mold, that you can shape, that you can love on, that you have this connection to, that is unlike any other connection, is incomparable. It's not like your brother, your sister, your mother, your aunt, your best friend, your significant other. It's completely like any other experience when this is my flesh, this is my blood. You know what I mean? Like, they rely on me so much for so long, you know what I mean? And yeah, as they get older, they change. We were kids. We know what that's like to grow up and change and do things differently than what you've done, before. But that's a part of that growing process. It's a beautiful thing. Like, I love it. Like, even though I'm tired right now. I'm having to remember to feed the child and do this and change diapers. But I'm like, man, I love this. Like being here for this little person because they can't do this for themselves. Like they need me. And it's not even just about being needed. It's just about like I want to do it. Like immediately there's a connection. I was talking to my mother and just having some conversations about I've never really had that conversation about having multiple kids and giving them love equally because you may have questions about how are you going to love this next one, how are you going to split time, how are you going to be able to do this, and I'm like, everybody else has been able to do it before me, so I should be able to do it. And I was having a general conversation with my mother about love and just how do you love this child as much as you love your other child, and my mom said it's going to be immediate. It's not that you have less love to share with this new child. You're going to have more. It's going to grow like the Grinch's heart. It's going to grow 3 sizes. You're going to have more love to give, not less love between the two. And it's just going to be natural. You're just going to feel it. I know individuals and I have family members that have adopted children. And I mean, there's a love there. You know what I mean? And just being active in this little person's life. And, I get the whole thing. Yes, I do feel like there is a too young to have children. I do feel like you can be immature and not in the best position. But the whole thing about never, you know what I mean? Never, oh, this little child is freeloading. Some of y'all take that as jokes. A lot of people take that as real. And I'm just like, that's just like, man, I don't never want to get married. I don't never want to do this. And I just be like, what type of life are you going to live by yourself? How fruitful is that going to be? How impactful is that going to be? What measure is that going to show you when it's all on you? And when you leave, it leaves. Now, if you become a billionaire, you do these other things, okay, cool. But other than that, it's going to be through your family. Somebody else is going to have to tell your story. Your cousin, your friend, your friend's children, but eventually they're going to have their own children and they're going to have their own life and they're going to have their own experiences. And then you're just going to be, the back of somebody's memory. It's not going to be present. It's not going to be that one person that is always going to, there may be, but that person is not going to then have another child that's going to then have another child and so on and so forth. I think you should make some type of lasting impact on this world. So with my daughter, over the years, we've done so much. She's shown me so much. She's so intelligent. She's so smart. She's been on the podcast. She wants to do more episodes, so I have to get her back on here. But I find myself just really trying to remember, like, man, how did we do it? Like, you kind of think it'll just come back to you, but it's like we're older, and I'm like, yo, how did we do this? Like, we just were able to do it. Like, you just jump into it. Like, the parenting thing, there's only so much planning and preparation that you can do, honestly. You can help with raising your siblings or your little cousin or whoever, but it's a whole new ball game when this is your own. And you got to go through it day by day by day. It's a long period of time. You know what I mean? It's a long time. I mean, it's a lot of intense care. But I wouldn't change it. I would not change it. Of course, you got the jokes about, yeah, I might change the person I, that we had kids with, but I would not change my child or not having my child at all. Like, I'm so glad that my daughter is here. Now my son is here, and I get to see what they're going to be. Prayerfully, that I take care of myself and I take care of my health, and I get to see what they're going to develop into as they get older, as they mature. And even now, I think about myself as a child, and I look at old pictures, and me and my wife are just kind of going through these things, and it's kind of tripped out. Like, we were once kids, and now we have kids, and not only now we have kids, now we have a newborn baby, and we have a daughter that's going to be 7, and it's like, wow, like, how did we make it? Like, how did we get to this point? We did it with less money, less, didn't have a house, didn't have this, didn't have that. We did it at a different place than we are today. And we've been able to grow and mature. We got a lot more now than we had then. And it's like, man, how are we going to do this? And you start having those different conversations, just about daycare, in-home care, nanny, whatever the case may be, family, them being able to do something for the summer, spring break, and being able to take vacations now that they're in school. You don't want to take them out of school. You don't want them to miss school, and sick days and just stuff you haven't had to think about since you were in college, if you went to college or high school. It's just a whole different thing that, you're dealing with as an adult, but I love it. I love it. I really don't have much more to say. I thought about saying some other things, but that was my main thing, is just to kind of convey that thought. This is not a call to arms that everyone should have or raise a child, but I do question it. You know what I mean? Like, what does that mean for you that, you think that way and you believe that it's just so bad? Like it's like children are the boogeyman or something. They're gonna do this and they're gonna do that and I'm like, man, when you have a child, all that other little petty shit is irrelevant. You know what I mean? As far as like your personal well being it should be. You know what I mean? You sitting here, you more worried about your sleep and you going out and your money and your this. I'm like, man, that's just like, what type of person is that, man? Like, how? You know what I mean? How? Once that child is here, the only thing that you should, and I think you will, care about is that child's health. Is my child going to be okay? Are they going to, make it? Are they going to go to college? What are their dreams? Are they going to give me grandchildren? You're going to think some of the most wonderful things, when you have a child. And again, I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but I think you can do it. You can be better. You can do better. I think it's more of a, again, it's like, taking on more responsibility. I know some of you are like, I don't want to take on more responsibility. I can't even take care of myself. I get that. But whether you have a child or not, you got to grow the hell up. You know what I mean? Like that's going to happen, where you need to grow up. And if you want to be a grown ass kid at 30 and 40 and look back on your life and, so be it. But that ain't the life for me. I need somebody who needs me. You know what I mean? I love somebody who needs me. I want somebody who needs me. It's pretty freaking dope. You know what I mean? And they make you laugh. You know what I mean? They just are so full of joy, and they don't know everything that we know when it comes to racism and police brutality and this and that. I mean, they are really childlike. They're living, they're going to school, they have their emotions, their ups and downs, their highs and lows, but they're kids. You know what I mean? Like, and you hopefully can just allow them to be kids for as long as they can be kids. Don't have them grow up too fast. You can talk to them about the real world, but protect them, raise them up in the way that you would like them to go. Talk to them about Black history. It's not just the responsibility of the school system. It's your responsibility as a parent. And I want to hear, and like I say, it's kind of like a bad review. A bad review goes way further than a good review. Good review, okay, yeah, I see. Boom, kind of skip over. You see a bad review, that could negate all of those 10 good reviews. And that's the same way I look at people talking about having children. It's just like, you hear one bad thing and that goes 10,000 miles. You hear 10 good things and it takes double the amount of time to go the same amount of distance. So I would like everybody to reevaluate how you think about kids and how that impacts your life. And I don't mean having them as a status symbol and this baby fever and all of this stuff. I think that there are good reasons to have children. I think there are bad reasons to have children. And no, I don't think you should have children for any of those bad reasons or peer pressure. I think you should really be serious about, what you want to do. If you want to get married, if you want to be a CEO, whatever it is, be intentional, not just accidental. Have some type of purpose. I done talked long enough. You know what I mean? I really don't think I got any more to say. This is the What We Gonna Do podcast. I am your host, AJ. Again, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at What We Gonna Do Pod. Please visit Linktree / What We Gonna Do Pod. That's GONE. I appreciate all of y'all. I appreciate any new reviews. I appreciate any old reviews. I'm gonna holler at y'all next time. All right. Peace.